All About Beer receives underwriting support from Wallenpaupack Brewing Company. They understand the importance of independent journalism in the beer space, and their support helps fund original work. Learn how you can affordably support journalists by visiting allaboutbeer.com/support.
Welcome to Drink Beer, Think Beer, the podcast that gets to the bottom of every pint. I'm John Holl. We're at a curious point in American brewing. Some talented brewers are choosing to walk away from a career they've loved. It's not a bad thing, just part of the evolution. This week, one brewer shares his journey. But first, keep up with everything we have going on with All About Beer and more on our social media. We're at All About Beer across all of the major platforms. And if you have comments, guest suggestions, or just want to reach out, you can always email me at johnholl@allaboutbeer.com. That's JOHNHOLL @allaboutbeer.com. If you go to the website, you can sign up for our newsletter. The website is also where you can read the archives, which go all the way back to 1979, as well as great new content. So go check that out. We are supported by you. I say this every week, but I mean it. Head over to allaboutbeer.com/support and learn how just a few bucks can have a huge impact in supporting original journalism in the beer space. On that note, thanks to this episode's sponsors. Today's episode is brought to you by Stomp Stickers. Stomp is built for the business community, serving everyone from small independents to larger franchises. Whether you need low minimums for a limited batch or bulk pricing for your go-to products, they've got you covered. Join thousands of breweries that trust Stomp for their custom printing needs. Go to stompstickers.com and try them out and score 15% off of your first order with the code FIRSTRUN.
Shed 60-Minute IPA is a fantastically hoppy India Pale Ale that's beautifully balanced thanks to their unique continual hopping method. Delivering a pungent hop flavor that isn't crushingly bitter, 60-Minute is continually hopped throughout the boil for a full 60 minutes. Starting to see where the name comes from? Check out dogfish.com to learn more and to find some 60-Minute near you. Dogfish Head Craft Brewery, Milton, Delaware. Please drink responsibly.
Beer 30 by The Fifth Ingredient is the ultimate command center. The most powerful brewery management software on the market, Beer 30 handles the entire brewing workflow, from recipe development to production. Once your beer is brewed and ready, it seamlessly manages your inventory and streamlines your brewery's sales and distribution, all in the same easy-to-use platform. Beer 30 lets you get back to the beer and to the people that made you fall in love with this industry in the first place. And no other brewery management software gives you the ability to truly master your business and get the insights that you need to thrive in an increasingly competitive industry. Visit thefifthingredient.com/allaboutbeer today to learn more and receive 3 free months of Beer 30. A few months back, a post on social media caught my attention. Derek Gallanosa, one of California's more celebrated brewers, announced that he was pulling back from brewing. He's had a variety of jobs, and we'll go through his resume in a moment, at breweries that people know, like, and respect. I first met him more than a decade ago when he was starting off as a brewer, and it was just roundly impressed with all of the beers that he was making, and I sought them out whenever I could. From afar, things looked to be going well, with growth and new ventures and accolades. But as you'll hear, he started looking at the long term and thinking about what he wanted to do in life, and previous goals didn't always stack up with the current situation. There's a lot of folks at a crossroads right now in the beer industry, and this is a snapshot of what's happening in breweries across the country. Here's our conversation. Thanks for doing this. I was going back through memory lane, and I'm fairly confident we met when you were at Abnormal. And
yeah, we had dinner.
Yeah, and Brandon Hernandez brought me by.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was us three.
And because he was so excited about the beers that you were making. And, you know, in a town or region like San Diego, you know, when Hernandez gets excited about something, it's like, okay, there's a lot of really good beer here. You know, why are we going to this little strip mall here? And it's like, you know, and of course, obviously the beers blew me away. What drew you to beer in the first place?
I think it was just the curiosity. So when I was 21, took a trip to Europe just to see what kind of beers are there. I didn't know a lot. And I was just like really hanging out with my friends, trying to see something different. I mean, we weren't stuck, but we were in San Diego, and it's just kind of a newer relative to the rest of the world. It's a new city, it's a new country in a sense. So we want to see something old. We want to see other cultures, and I think that kind of shaped my curiosity to see what else is out there and to explore and to experience. So we went out there and big beer drinkers. So it was really just trying new beers every chance we can get. Went to 9 different countries or so. And
Damn. All right.
yeah, but being 21, you don't know
Oh,
exactly
no,
what
yeah,
you're
no,
getting
you
into. It's like the introduction, it's surface level, you know? We're going to places that you see on TV, you hear about, but we didn't really put it much, study or emphasis. I mean, how can you when you're 21 and not have a lot of experience in beer drinking or just in life in general?
yeah. So I mean, so you're there, and that sort of sparks some interest because you get the opportunity to, you know, try new to you beers and a beer culture that is largely uninterrupted, and so rooted in tradition, uh, and so opposite, I think, of what I think of when San Diego comes to mind. So, what was it about that trip that solidified it for you?
Just the variety. Uh, you get to see where classic styles were born and how they taste now. I wouldn't say evolve because we wouldn't be able to try how it was before, nor did I know how it was made before. But we got to see Helles, Pilsner in the Czech Republic, in Germany, have a cask ale in England. And that was eye opening just to see that there's a whole world of beer that can be explored and also the different cultures. So, for example, one story that still sticks with me is being in Munich, I think it was, Hofbrauhaus in Munich. And there were some locals. And if you are familiar, anyone's familiar with that, they're just long tables. They're communal tables. You sit down, you drink with people, you make friends.
Yeah.
And there's some locals there, and they're asking, "Hey, where are you kids from?" And we're like, "Oh, we're from California." And they're like, "Oh, gold." We're like, "Gold?" That was like 150 years ago. But they're trying to find some way to kind of communicate with us and hold a conversation. And we're like, "Yeah, tell us about this beer." I don't know if we could tell you about gold, but uh, that was pretty cool just to see that community. And it's just that drinking hall, and it's like one thing that brought us together was the beer, and then we could go beyond that and kind of share. And I think that's been kind of a theme throughout this whole community is that beer brings us together, and we can learn about each other beyond that. But really what brought us together, that like social lubricant, is beer.
Yeah. So, I mean, not everybody who goes on a European trip is going to come, and drinks a lot of good beer and has those experiences is going to come back and say, this is the career that I'm going to make out of this. Um,
No, no.
yeah. So, I mean, walk me through how that experience solidified the career path that you would walk then for years to come.
Well, I was just an enthusiast. I was a drinker. I was just curious. Let me try a different 6 pack at the grocery store every time I go. And then it wasn't until I went over to a friend's house and his dad was brewing in the backyard, and it kind of blew my mind because I didn't know you can do that. And I got curious, bought a kit, read a book, and just kind of fell in love with it. And I was recently out of college. I got a marketing degree, and I just started playing around, getting creative, and fell in love with it and realized, hey, maybe I should give this a shot and just kind of put my resume out there, even though I didn't really have anything on my resume. I wasn't getting interviews, just being a home brewer.
Yeah.
And I had to think like, how can I build up my resume? And so I took I took like the most basic Siebel course online that you can take out of Chicago. And that actually got me a couple interviews and eventually got me hired at Carl Strauss Brewing Company, which is a huge regional brewery down here in
Oh
San
yeah.
Diego. Yeah, so that's where I kind of learned my professional brewing skills, brewing 60 barrels at a time. So it's still the largest brew house I ever brewed on. And I made a lot of red ale
Right. That was their big thing, right?
at the time. Yeah. Yeah. Early 2010s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got hired in 2010
It was
and
Trolley.
Red Trolley. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Irish Red Ale won a lot of awards. I
It
mean,
did.
during that time, it was picking up, I think it was twice that it got World Beer Cup and GABF gold on the same year. So it was kind of a powerhouse and it had a lot of recognition behind it. And it tasted good.
Yeah. Um, I mean, to think back to those days, right? When everybody, and it's not that long ago, right? I mean, you and I met probably like a little more than a decade ago, like maybe like 12 years.
Uh-huh.
And, but even back then, and even before then, like it feels like it could be 100 years ago as far as beer in the US. And, you know, people drinking a ton of red ale and it's now tough to find, or, just being, like, oh, I'm going to take a Siebel class and then like immediately getting a job, like the, at one of the, larger, better breweries in the
Mhm.
area. It feels so much harder now. And so much more disconnected back then. Um, than maybe it is, than it is now. Um, but in following your career and conversations over time, um, that marketing degree, I feel, has served you really well in the way that you have been communicating your beers and putting it out there, and getting people interested. And so much of it is, the great beer that you're making and have made, but it's also getting people interested and, putting some of that, I'm going to say hype, but I don't mean it in the bad way, behind
Yeah.
it.
I
And
like to say
yeah,
excitement.
okay, no, great.
Yeah.
See, there's that marketing degree coming out again.
Yeah.
Um, but the excitement, sure. How much of that part of your education helped and or influenced your beer career?
I think it was vital. And I think that every brewer or every brewery owner should take a marketing class and kind of understand the basics and how to apply it to craft beer. And I actually taught over, I don't know, almost a decade, marketing craft beer at San Diego State. And that's what it was. It was basically marketing 101 applied to the craft beer industry. So we did real world experiments or assignments where we pretend like each group is in a small marketing team and they had different assignments based off of beer. I think that background, having that degree, really helped in the small business section of my career because we small businesses can't have their own marketing department. So having a brewer
Yeah.
that was willing to promote it on not only the company's social media, but their social media, being the face of the company, being able to communicate the nuances and the behind the scenes and what goes into the beer to the consumer. I think it's a little bit more genuine coming from the producer himself. So I think it was vital in getting people excited because, hey, this is the person that made it and they're telling me everything about it. I want to try it.
And there's people are pulled in so many different directions, when you're brewing or when you're an owner. And, I mean, I even realize this, with what we're doing with All About Beer, of just, getting out there and doing the marketing or reminding people regularly, just beyond the articles or the podcast or whatever. But like after you taught those classes, there had to have been people who didn't have that background who came back to you afterwards and were like, this worked, thank you. Is right, that's fair.
Oh, every time. And on top of that, it wasn't like I was guaranteed the next round of that class. I did replace somebody in that course. I created, and I was giving nothing out, or they're like, we just want to kind of wipe it clean. You have to create a new course. Also, it starts in 2 weeks. And I know you never taught in front of anybody before. So it was one of the most stressful times of my life, but it was a challenge. And I think you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations in order to move forward in your career. And so that was one of the things that I thought would help not only the future of the industry, but myself as well, being a communicator, being a public speaker, and really just being able to eventually manage a team or help manage a team. I think, well, the feedback was, yeah, people did come back and say, hey, I really applied that because you made it so simple. And I realized that marketing's everywhere and it goes beyond beer. We're all being marketed everything constantly, commercials, ads, logos, colors, symbols. We're always being marketed at and towards. So I brought that to light with a lot of people. And I think because of that, the positive feedback from the students allowed me to be invited back class after class until the program ended earlier this year.
Yeah. I mean, everybody knows it's not even fair to say headwinds anymore, but just the gale force that craft is going through right now. Where do you see the role of marketing, right? I mean, I still want to harp on, quality beer, quality beer, refine recipes, do them well, innovation if necessary, but just make good beers and have a good place for people to go and drink them. But if you were teaching that class this fall, right, given where we're at, what would you be tweaking? What would you be telling the students?
I think over time, I emphasized how much more important it is becoming as part of a brewery, because as more breweries pop up, as the beer quality gets higher, it's just going to get more competitive. And what can give you an edge is marketing, is communicating what you're producing, giving a behind the scenes tour, and strategically placing your products in front of the target audience that you want and the people that were willing to come into your tap room. So I think it is more important than ever. And I feel like every brewery should pay attention as much as they can. I mean, beyond keeping the business alive and creating great beer, I think marketing is the next step that kind of take them into a competitive advantage.
Yeah. So after Abnormal, you went to Masaka. And I never know. Masa, I'm sorry. I know. I knew it. I knew it as I was saying.
I know it's a weird name. MOKSA.
Right. Masa. Yeah. So yeah. I can't be the only one who does that, but I can only be embarrassed for myself. And then over to Goal. And that evolution of, the involvement that you had, the beers that you were making, the collaborations you were doing, the travel you were doing, and all of that. What kind of toll did that take on you as a brewer?
I think when we had people in place at Moxa, we had a team, and I was enjoying it a lot. It was a lot of work, but it was very rewarding as well, knowing that you're in the brewery, you're with your team, you're just knocking out these quality beers. And then once a month, I would go travel and try to promote it somewhere, but also hang out with friends and have some fun and experience somewhere new. I think that was a good, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought that was kind of like the peak, pre-COVID peak of craft beer, was being able to just go to an invitational, see new customers, see a different beer community and interact with them. And I thought that was great. So I do miss that part of brewing, and kind of having this, I would say, popular craft brewery that I was a part of. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that era pre-COVID of all of those invitationals and everybody sort of on the road every week and all of that. And I know we're kind of getting back into it as well. when you look back now, right, were those like the last great years, do you think, until the next new great years come? Or, were there trade-offs? Because I've had conversations with other brewers where it's like, I was on the road too much, or, like family was tough, or,
Mhm.
I wasn't at the brewery every weekend when we were busiest because I was at somebody else's brewery, and, things got missed, and, COVID helped me reset that. And then I got to, you know, pull the brewery out of whatever funk it might have been in. Um, it sounds
I
like
think
yeah. Go ahead.
I think early on when I was at Abnormal, I really struggled with that work-life balance because I could work as much as I want and I could progress the brewery as much, but then I was in fear of getting burnt out, and I was kind of feeling it. So I learned early on how to just set aside time uh, for myself, do something else, stop working, and kind of refresh for the next week. And I kind of carried that mentality of like make sure you have that work life balance in anything that you do, even on these like trips and stuff, and you going to CBC, GABF, that it doesn't really interfere with anything else. So I was really just planning ahead and knowing that these trips are coming up or these heavy weeks are coming up of brewing, and kind of work around them as far as balancing them out. So I feel like I had a good mindset as far as work-life balance, not trying to get burnt out. Uh, as long as everything was kind of in place, team knows what they're going to do. I think organization was the key to making that all that happen and being sustainable.
Yeah. So one of the reasons I wanted to have this conversation with you, and it's been a while since we caught up, but
Mhm.
was earlier this year. You posted about some of the changes at Goal,
Mhm.
where you've been, and that you were it was your intention to step away from brewing and to step away from beer. Um, in a lot of you were also like, maybe I'll be a buyer, maybe I'll, you threw out some ideas, but it struck me that you were publicly putting out there you were looking for a change. And I've seen I've seen it more and more with brewers. It's long hours, it's hard work, it's a lot of pressure. Like I said, these sort of gale force winds. Um, but if you can sort of, lead me through what led up to that post.
Yeah, I think beer in different regions is it varies across the country and the world. And I feel like San Diego is a pretty competitive place. Opening a business post COVID it is tough. Um, in California, especially, it's just a lot of things that kind of work against you to start fresh. Uh, and I think within San Diego, there's a lot of factors. We have a lot of things to do here. It's a great city, and there's a lot of great beer. I think the quality has risen to the point where every neighborhood has a great beer watering hole, whether it be a brewery, a tap room. There's great beer everywhere. So no longer are there days that or that time where people are traveling further to drink because they're drinking less often, not going out as much. And I think our demographic that we've catered to back in the day that's still with us is growing up, having kids, looking for places that have a food menu, something that's consistent, not just food trucks, because they want to know what they're getting. They want consistency.
100% on that front. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yes.
And I think if there were new drinkers, but we don't see as many, I mean, beyond the like the hangouts, like for example, in San Diego, you'll see a lot of young drinkers down by the beach. So like the beach towns, but you go a little bit further inland and you're not seeing a lot of really young drinkers, new drinkers coming into the tap room or into the beer bars. So I think the pool of customers is slightly shrinking too because there's not new drinkers and the existing ones are kind of pulling back a little bit, drinking more at home. having a family, catering to that. The priority has shifted. So I feel like the dynamic of the beer community has changed. And that's, I'm specifically talking about what I'm familiar with here in San Diego, but I'm also familiar with the scene in Sacramento. I think that's growing.
Yeah.
I think they're excited. They built a community up there to where it is cool to go out and check out the new brewery or to meet up at a brewery. I feel that that's how San Diego was, maybe a little bit pre-COVID, where yeah, it'd be like, oh, where are we going today? What new place are we checking out today? I think they had that up there, and they had that excitement where our community down here, our market has kind of matured out of it. So there's a lot of factors, and I feel like those were the consistent ones. No food, an aging and maturing demographic, and no new drinkers. I think all those factors play against you as far as a new brewery, a small brewery.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone's feeling that, whether it's your mom and pop like microbrewery to a huge regional brewery. I think everyone's feeling that as far as an aging demographic.
At some point there had to be a little voice in your head, right? I mean, I know it's kind of cliche, but it's, and then sometimes it's easy to just kind of ignore it. And then other times you just have to kind of listen, and you can go either way. And then, you embrace it. I mean, with all of those things in mind, like, was this an easy thing for you to come to the conclusion of, or was it tortured? Is it somewhere in the middle?
I guess somewhere in the middle, because it was, I'm still passionate about it. I miss my beer. I miss making beer for myself and for the people that knew what my beer was. And I feel like it was needed. There was a change. There's a trajectory and where the industry is going. And I felt like just like how I got into it, kind of ahead of the curve. I'm trying to, exit it, try ahead of the curve before it gets any worse. And I still want to be on it. Like, as you mentioned, being a beer buyer, like pouring beer on the side, I still want to be involved in it. I'm still passionate. I'm still an enthusiast. I root for my friends that have breweries and are doing well or just staying in business. I root for them. But I feel like there's a time where you need to explore something else and take the skill sets that you learned in my career and take them somewhere else to see how I can apply them, but still kind of go back to beer in a smaller role.
It's interesting, right? Because I talk to a lot of brewers who have either been forced out, just because of circumstances, or, um, like you, who are sort of making a conscious decision. And I think there's always sort of this hurdle of, this is all I've ever been, or my identity is wrapped up in my job. I don't know what else to do. And certainly as a journalist, like, that's all, this is the only job I've ever done since I'm 16. So like, I can't imagine doing anything else. Like, I'm literally mentally blocked from it.
I think same.
Have you had, but so have other brewers, since that post has gone up, since you've been, out and talking about this, have other brewers been sort of asking you, how, like how they can do it as well?
Yeah, of course. Where they're thinking about it. Like, it's pretty stable right now, but I've been thinking about getting out and seeing what's out there. So I don't have an answer for them just yet, but telling them that, hey, we built up a lot of skills. You have to wear a lot of hats running a brewery or just being in a brewery, and kind of take note of that. Create a list. What skills do you have, and how can you apply it to another industry or another company? I mean, that's what I'm currently doing right now. And I feel like I can focus on one of the aspects that I was doing in brewing, but in a more intense role, in a focused role somewhere else. I I mean, for those that have run breweries, we've done procurement, quality control, supply chain, manufacturing, marketing, sales, like pretty well rounded, especially if you're in a small brewery. So trying to take all those skills and try to find where else I can apply them to.
Yeah. Has that been a fun challenge? Or frustrating, or
It's
all
been
of the
getting
above?
less and less. It's less fun over time. I mean, I don't know if I would say it was ever fun. I mean, there was like,
I'm
some
sorry. I'm sorry.
excitement.
Exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe it was like exciting to kind of see what was out there, but now it's like, there's a lot of people in my same position that are looking at a transition, or you see a lot of, yeah, especially the beer industry kind of consolidating to where there's a lot of people that are being forced to exit the industry. And I'm assuming that that's not just the beer industry, but industries overall
Yeah.
consolidating. There's a lot of people with a lot of skills out there. And what I'm noticing is, yeah, there's positions available, but hundreds of applicants. So it's I'm still figuring this out. How do you kind of put yourself out there as one of the top candidates, and showing that you have a well-rounded skill set, but can really focus in on certain ones, but having the other ones being a secondary asset to a company. I feel that's the communication that I want to put forward to when I apply. But when there's hundreds of applicants, my resume is just running through just a automatic filter, and hopefully it reaches a person, but most likely it's probably not.
Yeah.
So that's been I think the struggle is like, what are people looking for? Because I'm just getting automated responses.
No, that's frustrating. Um,
And that's why I think it's more kind of a lesson in, market or network as much as possible, because, if you can get in with them, through a recommendation or a referral, that's how you can bypass that. And so you really lean on your network. And I do recommend just trying to build your network, not only within the beer company or beer industry, but beyond that, everything that you feel like your skill set can be applied to, make a friend in that industry.
yeah. I've been asking folks on the show for years now. What I call the green door question, and the premise is on the television show The Good Place. They introduce a concept of a green door in the final season, where the characters can walk through it and be wherever they want, doing whatever they want. So if we had a green door on our plane of existence, and this conversation ended, and you could walk through it and be at any pub or any brewery anywhere in the world, where would you want to go? Who would you want to be with? And what would you like to be drinking?
You know what? I really like this new pub that opened up in San Diego called Bach. It's the board is divided in old world beers and new world beers. So you could dabble in some of the classics and some of the innovative stuff coming forward. So, and honestly, I've been going there at least once a week, and it's either that or, I would. There's a pub here that used to be in existence called Tornado, and Tornado San
Sure.
Diego was
Yeah. Nate. Yeah.
was kind of, yeah, it was the kind of water, like the community kind of hub. Everyone kind of went through there, or at least they knew about it. And it would be with my late friend Nate that I would want to have a beer with, just kind of talk about. He was a very intelligent guy, and just talking about how beer is now, where it can be. And we did come up with some exciting things at the time to make beer exciting: beer brunches, beer dinners, beer events, uh, tap takeovers that were unlike others, just coming up with ideas. And I feel like the innovation has been lost because we're so focused on keeping our businesses alive. And we lost that sense of fun because our focus has been on maintaining what has already been created. So I feel that would be a great way to kind of reinvigorate the market here would be sitting down, taking the time, and really getting creative. Because I feel that's how we got into the business in general, is we wanted to be creative. We wanted to share our creations with other people. And then it turned into some serious business that we now are now focused on. So getting back to the fun of it and the creativeness and just being like a little like whimsical and like fun.
I like that. Well, I'm hopeful the next time I'm out your way, we can grab a beer and we'll both be sitting on the same side of the bar. But
Yeah, definitely.
thanks for sharing this insight. I appreciate it, and I think it's valuable stuff. And I hope those who are finding themselves at a crossroad in the industry right now are able to listen in and get something out of it. But thanks, Derek.
Yeah. Thanks for talking, and I hope that people within the industry, they still maintain that passion, still have that drive to innovate and be creative, and really just the ability to sit back, have a beer with their colleagues and their peers, and talk about how they can make the beer industry better.
Well said. Are you at a crossroads in your career? What do you think we should be talking about on this show that matters to brewing professionals and curious beer drinkers? Let me know by email. It's johnholl@allaboutbeer.com. That's JOHNHOLL @allaboutbeer.com. For some levity and some smoke, make sure you join the This Week in Rauk Beer group on Facebook or follow @TW on Instagram. And as always, you can reach me by email, like I said, at johnholl@allaboutbeer.com. Go visit the website where you can check out new content as well as the archives, which go back to 1979. You can follow us on social media at All About Beer. And if you want to help support journalism in the beer space, go to allaboutbeer.com/support. I really mean it. A few bucks, just a few dollars, goes a very long way to fund original work. Before we run, here's a word from this week's sponsors. StompStickers.com is loaded with features to make ordering a breeze. They save all your artwork and order history, so restocking your bestsellers is just a click away. Oh, and did we mention free shipping on every order? Try Stomp Stickers today and snag 15% off of your first order with the code FIRSTRUN.
Calling all hopheads. Dogfish Head's 60-minute IPA is a fantastically hoppy India Pale Ale that's beautifully balanced thanks to their unique continual hopping method. Delivering a pungent hop flavor that isn't crushingly bitter, 60 Minute is continually hopped throughout the boil for a full 60 minutes. Starting to see where the name comes from? Check out dogfish.com to learn more and to find some 60 Minute near you. Dogfish Head Craft Brewery, Milton, Delaware. Please drink responsibly.
If you're running a brewery, owner or operator, Beer 30 by The Fifth Ingredient is the ultimate command center. The most powerful brewery management software on the market, Beer 30 handles the entire brewing workflow, from recipe development to production. Once your beer is brewed and ready, it seamlessly manages your inventory and streamlines your brewery's sales and distribution, all in the same easy-to-use platform. Beer 30 lets you get back to the beer and to the people that made you fall in love with this industry in the first place. And no other brewery management software gives you the ability to truly master your business and get the insights that you need to thrive in an increasingly competitive industry. Visit thefifthingredient.com/allaboutbeer today to learn more and receive 3 free months of Beer 30. Make sure you dial up the All About Beer podcast channel. Search and subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. Steal This Beer has new episodes every Monday, currently making our way through a St. Pete Clearwater marathon. And the BYO Nano podcast comes out on the 15th of every month. Started putting that episode together for September. We're going to be talking lagers. That's going to be fun. As for this show, Nate Weber does the music. Jeff Quinn designed our logo. And I'm John Holl. New episodes release every Wednesday, and that's when I'll be back again to drink beer and to think beer.